हाय अक्षय, कैसे हैं आप? आई होप। अक्षय 229994। भूल जाता हूँ नाम आपका, क्या है नाम बताएंगे एक बार? 229994। व्हाट्स योर नेम? आकाश। सो
यस सर।
कैसे हैं आकाश
ठीक।
आज? ठीक है।
ठीक है सर। हाँ, चल रहा है।
ओके। गुड गुड। शोभन जी आप कैसे हैं? सोमन जी, क्या चल रहा है आपका?
बढ़िया सर, बढ़िया। आप बताइए सर, आप कैसे हैं?
ऑल गुड ऑल गुड ऑल गुड। चलो ठीक है, गुड। थैंक्स फॉर ज्वाइनिंग एवरीवन दिस सेशन। लेट्स स्टार्ट दिस। तो लास्ट में हमने क्या पढ़ा था? कोई रिमाइंड कराएगा मुझे? व्हाट वी डन डिस्कशन इन लास्ट सेशन, जस्ट टू रिकैप। क्या पढ़ा था हमने?
सर, इंटरफेसेस कैसे चेक करना है, मतलब
ओके।
शो इंटरफेस एमजीएमटी।
हम्म।
और फायरवॉल को राउटर, मतलब इस राउटर की तरह क्यों यूज नहीं कर सकते वो।
हाँ हाँ।
और something, और ये मतलब आपने कमांड ऐसा बताया था कि सिस्को में हम लोग मतलब अगर प्रोडक्शन लाइव है तो लाइव प्रोडक्शन में भी चेंजेस कर सकते हैं। और
हम्म
वो तुरंत मतलब चेंज हो जाता है।
हम्म।
जैसे अपन को चेंजेस करना है तो बट जो पोलो अल्टो में है वो उसमें हमको मतलब कमिट करके ऐसा कोई प्रोसेस रुकती है एग्जैक्ट, मुझे मतलब मैंने नोट डाउन किया था बट वो पूरा सेंटेंस नहीं लिख पाया। तो मेरे पास में स्टार्टअप कॉन्फ़िग एंड रनिंग कॉन्फ़िग, मतलब डिफरेंशिएशन बताया था आपने,
राइट।
स्टार्टअप कॉन्फ़िगरेशन और रनिंग कॉन्फ़िगरेशन का।
ऑल राइट। ऑल राइट। गुड। चलो, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर। यस, someone you want to say something? Okay, guys. So that's a good recap, and thank you, Akash, for insights. So definitely, what we have done, why I asked this question purposefully, I just wanted to check how much you guys are able to recall. That's the key agenda for asking the question. So what we have done in last class, in the last class, we talk about the management interface. Means how the management interface is going to be configured, how we can assign the management interface, and what is the use of the management interface. We discuss about the different ports also of the firewalls, right? If I'm not wrong. कि भाई we have a lot of ports and what is the use of that particular ports for the configurations. So in today lab, what we're going to discuss, let me stop this particular lab and start something new. So I will stop this. We'll do the very basic lab, okay? And this lab is all about very important. We'll start from the layer 2 deployment method. Means in Palo Alto Firewall, we can make the inter-VLAN routing. We can do the pure layer 2 deployment. And also you can see the multi-VLAN also we have. So let's start with the layer 2 deployment mode. So we'll understand what is a layer 2 mode. So first I will clear this all entire configuration. And I'll turn on this router. Not router, this is the firewall. These are the switch and they are the PCs. So understand guys, what is the point? In network, we have the switch, right? We all know. This switch might be have the two PC. If these two PC want to connect, this is the PC A, this is the PC B. This is my switch. So how they are going to connect? They must be going to stay in the same VLAN. Might be this is going to be in the VLAN 10 and this is also going to be VLAN 10. So they are going to talk to each other. This is the one options. If they are going to stay in a different VLAN, so this switch must be act as a layer 3 switch. If this is the L2 switch, these same VLAN can talk, but let's suppose you have the VLAN 20 here and VLAN 30 here, they cannot talk to each other. For that, we require the third device, that is the layer 3 device. So we'll see how the layer 3 device is going to come in a picture and how it is going to make difference to make the communication of the different VLANs. That's the one thing हम समझेंगे. But in the first lab, we have to understand if my Palo Alto Firewall is going to act as a, this is my Palo Alto Firewall, is going to act as a switch. Can we make that happen? And their interfaces are purely going to be layer 2 interface. Can this PC talk to each other? So आप यहाँ देखोगे, we have this PC, we have this PC. They are connected with a switch. Might be the switch, we have the VLAN 10. These are the access port. This is also access port. This is also access port. This is also access port. So if I want to make them communicate, then this firewall interfaces must be going to act as a layer 2 VLAN. It should not act as a layer 3 port. So let's understand how it is going to be happen. So very first thing,
इंटर कम्युनिकेशन सर इसमें नहीं होगा, इसमें अगर L3 मेरी फायरवॉल तो L3 डिवाइस है,
but we use as a layer 2 only. We use as a layer 2. That's the special purpose. So what we are talking today, we are going to deploy the Palo Alto Firewall
as a
as
switch,
layer 2.
as
As
a
a
switch.
switch. So this is the
Okay,
topic we are going to discuss, layer 2 deployment.
okay, sir.
And also we'll discuss what is the security zone. So this is the two things we are going to cover in today's class. Okay.
Okay,
If
sir.
time allow, we'll talk about another thing also. So if I want to use my Palo Alto Firewall as a layer 2 switch, then is it possible or not? That we are going to do that.
Okay, sir.
So if I go here,
So we can use also the bridge mode, Palo Alto Firewall को bridge mode में use कर सकते हैं सर.
नहीं, bridge mode is not supported. Okay. So let me assign the PC as IP address, then we'll do the switch configuration and then we'll see that. So these two PC I have, I will go and assign the IP address and I will open the switches as well here. Okay. So I will go here. This is going to be my switch. Let me open this. And this is my firewall. Already it's booting up. So let's wait. So very first thing, on the PC side, we have to assign the IP address. So the one PC should have the IP address is going to be 10.10.10. Another PC is going to be 10.10.11. So I will go on this particular PC and I will give 10.10.10. So 10.10.10 255 255.0. So this is my one PC. I will give that. Now I will go to another PC. This is going to be 10.10.11. So let me, I will go here. I will go here and then I will just connect the 10.10.10.11 55 to 55.0 and click OK. So just very simple thing. I just define the IP address. Then you can verify the IP address as well from here. So you just go in the command and if you check the IP config, it is going to be there. You go here also in the window PC and you go there and just check the IP config. You're going to find, but these cannot talk to each other. If you're just trying to ping 10.10.11, they are not going to talk because still their traffic is going to process via the switch and then it is going to firewall and then it is going to reach to the final destination. Make sense? So how it is going to possible? So very first thing, we have to create the VLAN on the switch. Means I will create the one VLAN on my switch that is a VLAN 10. This is going to be there, and also VLAN 10 is going to be assigned here. Also 10 is going to be assigned, 10 is going to be assigned. So all are going to be VLAN 10. And this port is also going to be access port. This is also going to be access port. This is also going to be access port. Means all port even going to be part of the access port. So let me do that. I'll go in the switch and I'll create the VLAN. So configuring VLAN. Let me first change the host name. This is my switch 1. So I will change the host name, that is switch 1, and I will configure the VLAN 10, right? Exit. And after configuring this VLAN, I will go and assign on the port gig, means Ethernet 0 by 0 and 0 by 2. So I will go interface Ethernet 0 by 0 to, okay, let me go one by one, and I'll put the switch port mode access. Switch port access will 10. Okay, I will go another interface. That's going to be my another interface, and in this interface I will go and assign the same command. Okay, now if you just check that show, if you go and check the show VLAN brief, you are going to find these two VLAN has been assigned here without any problem. So now we are good with the VLANs. Similar thing we have to do on the another switch. So here I'll go and put the host name as a switch 2, and I'll create the VLAN 10 here, and I'll go and I'll assign this VLAN on the interface. The one interface is ATH1 and one is the ATH2. So I will go here. Even you want to give the range, so you can put the command interface range ATH 0 by 1 and 2 and switch port mode access. Switch port access VLAN 10 no shut. Even you can do that and do right. Sorry, right. And even I want to go here. So VLAN brief. And I want to do right, it is also possible. So now we are done with the switch configuration. Now what next? The next stage is still these PCs are not going to connect. We have done because firewall is in between. So very important if you want to do any configuration for the layer 2 in the firewall. So first you have to log into the firewall. So what do we have to do? We have to get login via the management IP address. So this time management IP I haven't assigned manually. It's taken automatically. You can see 192.168.1.36. So this IP they have taken automatically. So if I go and log in this firewall, I put username, admin, password is going to be admin. Very first time you have to change the password. So you have to put the old password and you have to put the new password. So I will go here and put the new password. Now you see, and you can verify what is my, you can just go here and see this is my 36 is a system IP address. So you can log in via the system IP address. Just go here and put it to 36. Because I can log in from my direct browser, but for you guys, you must have to log in via this management PC. I told you, right? How to log in by the management PC. So you just have to go on this management PC and you log in the firewall because they are going to stay in the same network. Right now, this management PC is my local computer because I'm in the same LAN network. So I will go here, admin, and I will put the password, and this is going to be logged in. Now from here, we have to actually start the game. Okay, just wait. So I will go here and close it. Now understand guys. So we are talking about this firewall is going to act as a layer 2 mode. Means this cannot do the routing. They can do the switching based on the layer 2 VLAN only. Not even the layer 3. SVI level things is not going to work. So next topology, I will explain how to configure with the SVI configurations as well. But understand, I have a two ports. That's the Ethernet 1 by 1. This is my one port. I have another port Ethernet 1 by 2. So how I can configure them so they can become as a layer 2 configuration. So for that, I need to go on my Palo Alto Firewall. This is my Palo Alto Firewall and I will go on the interface that is the ATH1. And in this, you have to define the interface type. In this interface, we have the multiple type tap mode, we have the HA mode, we have the virtual wire mode, we have the layer 2 mode, we have the layer 3 mode. So we will do everything one by one. But for time being, we are talking about the layer 2. So I will click on the layer 2. Once you configure any interface on the interface, right? If we configure anything on the interface, Fajal, please mute yourself. Fajal, please mute yourself. So if you are going to configure anything on the firewall interface, very important, you guys can note it. You must have to define the zones. But आपको पता नहीं है कि what is zone. ठीक है? This is the very important, guys. Means if you have the interface, either layer 2 interface, layer 3 interface, you have the tap mode interface, we have the V wire interface, right? We have the probably sub interface, we have the VLAN interface. In all case, you required the zone configuration. Only if you have the HA interface, this is not required the zone. So what is zone? We have to discuss. Okay. So very important. Again, I'm repeating कि अगर किसी भी तरीके का इंटरफेस आपके पास है, any interface if you have, you must have to assign zone on that interface except HA interface. HA ही एक ऐसा इंटरफेस होगा जिसपे जोन की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear to everyone? Make
Yes,
sense?
sir. Yes, sir.
ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
So now how I can configure the zone? So zone अभी मैं configure करके दिखाता हूँ क्या zone होता है, but I will explain what is zone in layman language. You guys can understand कि भाई zone की इतनी importance क्या है in Palo Alto Firewall. अगर आप FortiGate पढ़ोगे, अगर आप Cisco पढ़ोगे, तो what is the meaning of zone in that segment? But in Palo Alto, zone is very important concept because without zone you cannot do anything. So we have to understand in very detail. So in scenario, see, here we have some kind of the zone written. Okay. So one side I'm putting a LAN zone, another side also I'm putting a LAN zone. But if I just change this LAN zone with a trust zone, the scenario is going to be changed. So you have to understand if my LAN is there, then what is the behavior of the Palo Alto firewall? And if my LAN and one side is LAN, one side is trust, if it is going to be changed, then what is the behavior of the firewall? That we have to understand. Make sense, guys? So, जोन जो होगा, you have to decide manually. आप कुछ भी दे सकते हो, कोई नंबर हो सकता है, कोई नाम हो सकता है, it could be anything, but you guys have to decide कि मुझे जोन क्या देना. For here, let's suppose I'm going to use as a LAN zone. So मैं यहाँ गया और यहाँ पे मैं LAN zone एक बना लूंगा. So you have to create the zone from here. यहाँ से भी कर सकते हो create. देखो दो ऑप्शन है to create zone. I can create directly from here. Another I can create from this section also.
सर ये इंटरफेस के ऊपर जोन का जोन बनाएंगे या और कोई
Yes,
क्राइटेरिया सर?
every interface must be part of the zone.
और जोन बनाने का क्राइटेरिया क्या सर? क्यों मतलब अलग अलग जोन क्यों बनाएंगे?
मैं बताता हूँ जोन का पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट इसका जोन का. इसी के बाद बताऊंगा जोन का मतलब क्या होता है.
ओके
ठीक
सर.
है.
ओके
तो
सर.
अभी इतना समझ दो कि जोन बनाना इंपॉर्टेंट है, बट जोन होता क्या है स्टिल आई नॉट एक्सप्लेन. सो इसके इस लैब के बाद मैं बताऊंगा व्हाट इज जोन. ठीक है. अगला
ओके
चैप्टर ही हो गया. ठीक है ना, क्योंकि उसके बिना आगे समझ नहीं आएगा.
ओके सर. ओके नहीं
नाउ
कुछ.
यू जस्ट गेट इट. आई हैव टू क्रिएट अ जोन. आई कैन क्रिएट अ जोन फ्रॉम दिस लोकेशन. क्या देखो ध्यान से. I can create zone by going in the network here. That's one option. Or directly I can create zone by going on the interface. Both way. But my suggestion, whenever you have to create a zone, create carefully because we can do the mistake while creating a zone. It's a very easy task, but इसमें mistakes हो सकती हैं. मैं दिखाता हूँ कैसे mistakes होती हैं. And कई engineers, they do the mistake. So if I'm going to create a zone here, I can put the zone name as a LAN zone. So I can put here LAN zone. That's all. मिस्टेक यहां पे होती है. देखो एक टाइप क्या लिखा हुआ है यहाँ पे, देख रहे हो आप, लेयर 2. ये हो सकता है ये अपने आप ग्रेड आउट हो गया. दिस लेयर 2 हैज बीन ग्रेड आउट. क्यों? क्योंकि इंटरफेस को हमने लेयर 2 बना दिया, Because of that, this has been grayed out. बट ये जोन लेयर 2 भी हो सकता है, लेयर 3 भी हो सकता है. मैं दिखाता हूँ कैसे. अगर मैं इस जोन को, if I created this zone, just click OK. Okay. Let me first explain. If I'm going to create this zone from here, so what is going to happen? If I'm going to create this zone from here, so the zone is going to be created, but this zone can be tap mode, virtual wire, layer 2, layer 3, and tunnel. Could be anything. So when you create zone from here, you have to select this option also. अगर ये भूल गए select करना तो zone ही आपका गलत हो गया, and it is not going to work for you. So this is the very important. Whenever you create the zone, you have to select very carefully. So my recommendation, if you're creating a zone directly from the interface, it is going to take right value automatic, whatever the interface type you have, instead of going and putting that interface value on the any zone sections. Making sense, guys? Is it clear?
Yes.
Fragile, Zessler, Johnson, Pooja, Pratik, Jaydev.
Hi, sir. Can you repeat because I am joining to little bit late.
हाँ, I noted you joined late. आपने join किया है. चलो.
क्योंकि मेरे को अभी अपडेट मिला विथिन 5 मिनट अगो अपडेट
नहीं
दिख
नहीं
रहा
था.
है
You don't have the meeting invite. Oh my God. Let me ask to the support team. ऐसा क्यों उन्होंने किया? Okay, कोई बात नहीं. So sorry, I'll come. So what I'm talking today, we are doing the layer 2, right? We are doing the layer 2 interface. In the layer 2 interface, we have the concept to making the zone on the interface. ठीक है? अभी हम lab कर रहे हैं. But it's going to both interface is going to be layer 2 mode. So based on the VLANs, we have to make the communication. Based on the VLANs, we have to make the communication. So what I'm trying to make, you must have to put interfaces. किसी भी तरह का interface हो, layer 2 interface हो, layer 3 interface हो, sub interface हो, VLAN interface हो, right? Tap mode interface हो, virtual wire interface हो, these all interface, tunnel interface हो. Every interface you must have to define the zone. And what is zone? We have to discuss. Still, अभी discuss नहीं किया हमने. That is one thing.
Okay.
Second thing, if you have the HA interface, you do not require the zone. That's only one condition. ठीक है?
Okay.
So now I will go and I will create the interface configuration. So zone has been assigned. Now it is asking the VLAN. What VLAN we should assign? Can someone tell me what VLAN should be there? Anyone?
Default VLAN 1.
No. We created the VLAN 10 in downsize on the switch.
VLAN 10.
VLAN 10. But in Palo Alto Firewall, there is no option to give the VLAN ID for the layer 2 communication. Whatever you're giving the name, you can give the VLAN 10 name here, or you can give the any 10 number, or give me any kind of the other value. The only one condition, whatever you're creating the VLAN name here, you don't have to even assign the interface because it's not a SBI interface. This number or name should match to the other interface also. So that's all, nothing. So I assign the VLAN 10, you can see the VLAN 10. So another interface also should have the layer 2 mode. The VLAN should be 10 and the security zone should be LAN zone. And I can click OK. My configuration has been done. What next? Once we done this configuration, we have to commit this configuration. We have to commit this configuration. And after that, we'll see that. So now this has been done. And now if I go in the PC and if I go in the window PC and try to ping, it is not going to ping still. It is not going to ping. It doesn't mean there is a issue on the configuration. The commit has been done, but it's not pinging because we do not require any other configuration. It should ping. But why it is not pinging? Because on the PC side, we have blocked the ICMP on the firewall level. So let me disable the ICMP on the firewall. How can disable? You can go on the firewall. You go in the firewall. And after going in this particular window machine, go in the firewall. and you go in the firewall property, and this go here, this go here off, and apply. Now if I just go in this particular PC, see it start pinging. So that means we've done the job on the firewall. Now if I go and try to ping reverse direction, ping 10.10.10.10, it is not pinging. So if I want to allow, I can do again the same thing on this firewall. I need to disable the firewalls because by default this machine ping is blocked on the firewall PC. So I can go here. So why I'm showing whenever you have any problem and this is not pinging, so you don't have to be hopeless कि sir मेरा configuration सही है, ping नहीं हो रहा है, because you have to disable the firewall on the client. That's all. So you can see it will start also pinging. But the most important guys, as we know that my firewall is in between of the communication, but why they are able to make the communication? Why they are able to make the communication? Do we not require any policy? Do we not require any the policy? कितने लोग agree कर रहे हैं? Required होगा कि नहीं होगा? Because आपको packet must be processed from the firewall, so the policy is required, right? But वो
Yes.
हमने बनाया नहीं. Make sense? That policy must be there, but we never created any policy. So are we doing the right thing? The answer is yes, we are doing the right thing. We do not require the policy. Why? Because firewall के पास कुछ default policies होती हैं. Do you want to see that? What the default policy we have? You guys must know what is the default policy. Let me show you. So this is talking because we have some policy. And the policy is you have to go in the firewall and go in the policy and go in the security. See, we have the intra-zone default policy and inter-zone default policy. Now you have to think what is the meaning of the intra-zone and what is the meaning of the inter-zone. So let me explain while doing this lab. So if I want to define a zone, so like it's a logical segregation. It's a logical segregation of your physical infrastructure. That is a zone. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ समझो अभी आप लोग. So let's suppose, take an example, or let me go and use this particular whiteboard. Now we are talking the zone. So take an example कि और hold on, यहाँ पे सीखने ज़्यादा सही रहेगा. Let me draw on this diagram only. So let's take, this is the big box, right? In this big box, we can create some blocks. Okay. So these are the different blocks, and we're talking what is zone. Okay, so in this block, we can create multiple department, right? What is department? Could be the HR, right? Could be your sales, could be your IT, could be your marketing, could be your sales, could be your HR, could be your IT, and could be again marketing. So these are different kind of the department sitting in the different blocks. Make sense? आपके ऑफिस में ऐसा कुछ होता होगा? In your office also it is going to be happen such kind of the department. By default जो HR के लोग होंगे, right? Let's suppose कि HR में total 60 staffs हैं. 30 यहाँ बैठ सकते हैं, 30 यहाँ बैठ सकते हैं. यहाँ पे 40 staffs हैं, 20 here can sit, 20 here can sit. यहाँ पे 50 staff है, 50 यहाँ बैठ सकते हैं. मैं 100 है, 50 यहाँ, 50 यहाँ. यहाँ पे total 60 हैं, तो 30 यहाँ, 30 यहाँ बैठ सकते हैं. So when we hire these people, what is going to be happen? When we hire the people, probably they have the access of this location, this ODC or cubicle, this cubicle also, because they are the HR department. Similarly, sales वाले यहाँ बैठ सकते हैं, यहाँ बैठ सकते हैं. Marketing वाले यहाँ बैठ सकते हैं, यहाँ भी इन गेट का भी access होगा. IT वाले यहाँ बैठ सकते हैं, यहाँ बैठ सकते हैं. So basically, what I'm trying to make a point, if I'm going to belong in the same department, I can sit here or here. I have the both access. If I am going to belong in the same department, I have access of the both locations. Means either I can go here or here also. But if I want to go from HR to IT, can I go? Can I have a door access? What do you
No.
guys think? If I want to go from IT, then it is by default. ऐसा नहीं कि आप नहीं जा सकते हो, but by default, no access.
No. No access.
बाय डिफॉल्ट यू डोंट हैव एनी एक्सेस. बट आप एक्सेप्शन तो हर जगह होता है. अब ऐसा तो नहीं है कि एचआर का टीम आईटी में नहीं जाएगा, जाएगा ना. देयर माइट बी द मीटिंग, मेक सेंस. बट बाय
Yeah.
डिफॉल्ट यू डू नॉट हैव एनी एक्सेस. बट इफ आई दिस एचआर वांट टू गो इन दिस एचआर, सो व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हैपन? बाय
Yes.
डिफॉल्ट
Access.
दे हैव एक्सेस. समझ रहे हो आप लोग? तो
Yeah.
जो ये एचआर एचआर हुआ, इसको हम लोग बोलते हैं इंट्रा डिपार्टमेंट. ओके. इंट्रा डिपार्टमेंट का मतलब होता है सेम डिपार्टमेंट. क्लियर है? इंट्रा मतलब सेम होता है. बट अगर एचआर आईटी का हुआ, उसको क्या बोलेंगे हम लोग? इंटर डिपार्टमेंट. समझ आ रहा है? दैट इज अ
Yes.
डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट. जैसे आप लोगों ने कॉलेज में सुना होगा कि इंटर कॉलेज कंपटीशन. इसका मतलब कभी समझ में आया आप लोग? इंटर कॉलेज कंपटीशन का मतलब क्या होता है? इंटर कॉलेज कंपटीशन का मतलब यही होता है कि एक कॉलेज दूसरे कॉलेज के साथ कोई कंपटीशन करेगा. मतलब कि दो कॉलेज या उससे ज्यादा आपस में कंपटीशन, दैट इज इंटर कॉलेज कंपटीशन. इंट्रा कॉलेज मतलब विद इन द सेम कॉलेज कंपटीशन. समझ गए?
Mm.
सो द स्टोरी इज इन Palo Alto Firewall, the zone. Now let's talk about the zone. Zone is a logical grouping of physical and virtual interfaces. मतलब कि जो भी फायरवॉल के आपके फिजिकल इंटरफेस होते हैं एंड वर्चुअल इंटरफेस होते हैं, जोन इज गोइंग टू बी लॉजिकली ग्रुप देम. उनको सेपरेट करने का काम करता है. इट जस्ट गोइंग टू आइसोलेट सम रिसोर्सेज फ्रॉम वन नेटवर्क टू अनदर नेटवर्क. मेक सेंस? तो इसमें अगर मेरा सेम जोन है, इफ माई जोन इज गोइंग टू बी सेम, मीन्स take a this is HR1 zone and HR another zone, so they are going to by default talk to each other. ठीक है. बट अगर मेरा जोन डिफरेंट हो गया, तो बाय डिफॉल्ट firewall will block the traffic. So this is what you seeing here. This is the what जो मैंने एक्सप्लेन किया आपको. ऐसा क्यों होता है? क्योंकि देखो यहाँ पे आपकी फायरवॉल पॉलिसी बनी हुई है. ये आप नहीं बनाते हो. जब भी आप फायरवॉल खरीदोगे, सो दे हैव द इंट्रा जोन डिफॉल्ट पॉलिसी, दे हैव द इंटर जोन डिफॉल्ट पॉलिसी. In intra-zone default policy, everything is going to be allowed. Because of that, they are talking to each other. Because of that, these two PC are talking. अगर ये पॉलिसी नहीं होता, they cannot talk to each other. But inter-zone क्या हुआ? That's going to deny the law. You want to see that? How it is going to happen? You guys want to see that? Right?
Yes.
Okay. चलो देखते हैं अभी इसको. So अभी मैंने इस इंटरफेस पे किया LAN to LAN. अब मैं इसको चेंज कर देता हूँ. इसको बोलता हूँ ट्रस्ट जोन. So now my zone has been changed. Clear? So अब मैं जाके इस इंटरफेस पे 0/2 पे I'll create the different zone. I'll go here or let me create from here. So I'll create new zone from here and see how it is going to get it. I'll put the trust zone. Very important. You have to change the type because we are doing the layer 2. So you have to select the layer 2 from here. So click OK. Now my zone has been created, but not assigned to any interface. How to assign the interface? I will go on the this zone and I will change the zone as a trust. Now, see, these two are talking to each other. Still, they are talking to each other. But the moment I will do the commit, since configuration is going to apply on the firewall, the magic is going to be happen and they are not going to talk to each other. So see on live, because your inter-zone policy will apply here. So now you can see these two has been set up, but the communication we lost. Both are not talking each other. So now because the default policy is saying you have to be disallow, means you're not allowed to talk to each other. How they're going to talk to each other? What is the way around? बताओ क्या करना पड़ेगा फिर अभी हमें? Because we are not talking to each other. So if I want to make them communicate again, what is required here? Any guess?
should be at the same.
एक पॉलिसी बनाना पड़ेगा जो इंट्रा जोन और क्रॉस जोन के अंदर एक पॉलिसी बनाना पड़ेगा.
Yes. Thanks, Jayavdev, for joining this session. All right. So we have to create the policy now because earlier we have this policy, but now the all traffic start hitting on this below policy. और इस policy में सब कुछ आपका deny हो रहा है. If you repress, you are going to start getting hits after some time. यहाँ पे आपको hit दिख जाएगा. Everything is getting denied. So because of that, you are not going to talk. So if you want to make the communication, you have to create the policy. So I will create the layer 2 policy 1. And in this policy, I will create first LAN zone to talk to trust zone. So I will go here and make the LAN zone. And what is my LAN address? This time 10.10.10/24. So अभी मैं एक address डाल देता हूँ यहाँ पे. We'll see कैसे address object वगैरह बनता है. Later on we'll see that. 24th and destination is going to be my trust zone. And this is going to be 11.11.11. Sorry, my bad. 10.10.10.11/24, right? And this is going to be okay. If I click this one as a commit, still my full two-way communication is not going to be completed. It's only going to make happen one-way communication. That's this PC is going to talk to this PC. This cannot talk to this PC. And there is a logic. आप इंटरव्यू में जाओगे, so this kind of a question is going to be asked. कि भाई हमने जोन बना दिया, पॉलिसी इज डिफाइंड लैन टू ट्रस्ट, दिस पीसी इज एबल टू टॉक, बट व्हाई नॉट दिस पीसी इज एबल टू टॉक? क्या है इसके पीछे लॉजिक है? सो इसको देखते हैं. कमिट सक्सेसफुल एंड यू सी PC1 इज टॉकिंग टू द PC1. देखो पिंग आ रहा, बट PC2 इज स्टिल नॉट टॉकिंग टू ईच अदर. सो एनीवन नो द रीजन? क्या होता है इसके पीछे लॉजिकल रीजन? व्हाट इज द रीजन व्हाई इट्स हैपनिंग? Zone is clear, right? Zone is clear to everyone, right? Any doubt in zone? Meanwhile, I can clear this. Any doubt in zone?
Sir, please, can you repeat the zone?
Okay, so जोन. अच्छा चलो कोई बात नहीं, आकाश में जोन बताता हूँ. एनीवन हैव एनी अदर क्वेश्चंस रिगार्डिंग जोन? आकाश को नहीं समझ में, और किसी को?
मतलब मुझे वो अपना फिजिकल इंटरफेस और लॉजिकल इंटरफेस को कंबाइन करने का काम करता है या डिफरेंट करने का काम करता है, बस वहां पे मैं थोड़ा कंफ्यूज हो गया था.
मैं समझाता हूँ. ठीक है, लेट मी ड्रॉ द डायग्राम, यू आर गोइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड. सो एक हमारी फायरवॉल है, राइट? So this is my firewall, right? This is the PA01. This PA01 have the multiple interfaces. This is the ETH0/0. This can be ETH0/1, right? This is my ETH0/2. This is my ETH0/3. ठीक है? This is my ETH0/4. Take this is my E0/5. Total 5 interfaces, right? इन 5 इंटरफेसेस पे हमने क्या किया? कंप्यूटर लगा दिया. ठीक है, अभी समझ में आ जाएगा सबको कि व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक अ पॉइंट. ठीक है, यहाँ पे एक पीसी लगा दिया एंड विल कनेक्ट अनदर पीसी. यहाँ पे एक पीसी लगा दिया. दिस इज माई HR PC. दिस इज माई सेल्स PC. ठीक है, दिस इज माई HR PC. दिस इज माई सेल्स PC. ठीक है, दिस इज माई IT PC और इसको भी मैंने IT PC रख दिया. ठीक है, यहाँ तक क्लियर है सबको? अब देखो, समझो बात को, समझो. मैं एक पॉइंट गया यहाँ पे. इस इंटरफेस पे हो सकता है, टेक एन एग्जाम्पल, यहां से स्टार्ट करते हैं. इस इंटरफेस पे आपका IP 1.1.1. वेरी सिंपल एग्जाम्पल /24 हो गया. इस पे 2.2.2.2/24 हो गया. इस पे 3.3.3/24 हो गया. इस पे 4.4.4.4/24 हो गया, इस पे 5.5.5.5/24 हो गया, इस पे 6.6.6.6/24 हो गया. So these are different interfaces, different subnets. Now, if I'm going to assign a zone, पहली बात कि if you want to assign IP on this interface, you have to assign the zone. It's very much clear to everyone. Zone is mandatory to assign on every interface. Is it clear, Akash and all?
Yes,
If
sir.
you're not going to assign a zone, it is not going to work. So that's the mandatory. Clear? Now, if this is the HR department, so ideally I should assign the HR zone here. Clear? Clear? Take an example. ये IT है, so I will assign the IT zone here. ये IT है, तो यहाँ भी हम IT zone assign कर दिए. Now we have the HR, then I'll assign the HR zone here. Now it is sales, then I'll assign the sales zone here. ये वाला भी हमारा sales का है, so I will assign the sales zone here. So what we are doing means this हमारा HR जो है, this HR logically separated. एक हमारा ये जोन हुआ, that logically separated, and this can by default talk to this one. Subnet क्या है? I don't care. Just need routing. But zone is same. These two PC by default talk. इस पे 1 का सबनेट है, 2 का सबनेट by default talk. But अगर HR सेल से बात करने की कोशिश करेगा, if HR want to talk with sales, right? Let me see. If HR want to talk with the sales, so this cannot talk because completely resources अलग हैं. मतलब they have the different interface एंड दे हैव द डिफरेंट इंटरफेस, और आपस में इनकी कोई कम्युनिकेशन का मीडियम नहीं है बाय डिफॉल्ट, क्योंकि हमारे पास एक डिफॉल्ट पॉलिसी है दैट इज गोइंग टू ब्लॉक एवरीथिंग. सो बेसिकली हमने इंटरफेस लेवल पे सेग्रीगेशन कर दिया. वी हैव डन द सेग्रीगेशन ऑन द इंटरफेस लेवल एंड दे आर नॉट गोइंग टू टॉक टू ईच अदर. सो इफ आई वांट टू मेक द कम्युनिकेशन वी रिक्वायर द पॉलिसी. व्हिच पॉलिसी? फ्रॉम वन जो टू अनदर, मींस HR to sales or sales to HR. Akash, make sense? Clear or not?
Sir, yes, sir.
Is it
one
clear?
question.
Still not clear?
Sir, one
Sir,
question.
clear हो.
Okay, yes, जयदेव बताइए, what question you have?
सर जैसे कि HR और ऊपर वाला जो है लेफ्ट साइड पे HR, और जो नीचे एक है HR, लाइक IP है 3.3 का और 1.1 का, ये तो दोनों नेटवर्क अलग है ना सर? तो
Right.
इसके लिए तो सर कोई इंटरवीलन राउटिंग या ऐसे कोई राउटिंग होना चाहिए कि कम्युनिकेट कर सकते हैं?
Definitely, when you configure this, Jaydev, that's a good question. When you configure this, right? So क्या होता है कि you have to define the virtual router for the routing, right? So by default हम क्या करेंगे कि by default we'll put in the same virtual router. एक VR concept होता है, इसको हम बोलते हैं virtual router. So in the virtual router, just take an example. मैं थोड़ा सा और इसको आसान कर देता हूँ. Just take an example कि एक firewall है, इसके अंदर हमारा एक VR है, इसको हम बोलते हैं VR. सो एक इंटरफेस यहाँ पे हमारा ये भी HR में है, जिसपे हम ETH 0/0 बोलते हैं, जिसपे IP हमारा है 1.1.1/32. दूसरा इंटरफेस भी है जिसको हम बोलते हैं ETH 0/3. ये भी HR के अंदर ही है, जोन के अंदर, बट इसका 3.3.3.3/24/24. सो द राउटिंग इज गोइंग टू बी इन राउटिंग टेबल. अभी हम दिखाएंगे कैसे राउटिंग टेबल यहाँ बनेगा आपका, जिसको हम बोलते हैं rib table, and also it's making the fib table. So basically in fib table both network is going to show as a connected route. So connected route hai, so already they have the routing and they can talk to each other. Routing is there. Make sense, Jadav? So there is no inter-VLAN routing is required.
ओके ओके, आई गॉट इट सर, बट इसमें मीनिंग ये हुआ कि जितना भी हम लोग का आईपी में हम लोग असाइन करेंगे पोर्ट पे, वो ऑटोमेटिक वर्चुअल राउट के थ्रू वो राउटिंग हो जाएगा
If
फिफ्थ
that
टेबल
is a
पे।
connected route, सब केस में नहीं होगा. Again, I am putting the condition. In this, अभी जो सिनेरियो ने बताया, इस केस में हो जाएगा, but it's not taken guarantee always होगा. अगर राउट कहीं बाहर से लर्न हो गया रहो, तो you have to do the routing. You must have to do the routing if route is coming from outside. Making sense?
Sir,
या गॉट इट।
RIB is routing information base.
Yes, arrive is
Okay.
route information base and
Forward
FIB.
information base, next one.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. All right. Okay, so let's move in the final thing in the testing. So we have to finally do the testing on this particular communication. In this communication, we have to assign the different zone, which we done. And now we have the one-way communication, two-way is not working. So what is missing here and why it is not working? So in firewall, especially, this is the known as the stateful firewall, right? This stateful firewall have the process, they maintain the connections. Means whatever the connections we are or session, the connection is known as the session. So if this PC is want to talk to this PC, so connection table is going to be created, session table is going to be created, and session is going to be stored in the session table. That's the one thing. Based on that session table, the connection is going to allow from the client to server. This is the client, this is server. So whatever the communication is going from the client, server will just respond and firewall is just going to process. But if the server want to talk to the client, he want to initiate the session, this is going to block unless you have the reverse policy. That's the fundamental concept of the any stateful firewall. Means कि अगर client is trying to talk to the server, if client is want to talk to the server, the communication is going to be allowed without any problem because we create the policy from A to B. So B is going to reply. There is no problem. But if B want to talk to A, then we require the reverse policy also. And if there is no reverse policy, the communication is not happening. So what is happening here? In this scenario, this client is basically initiating. And for this client, we have the policy unidirectional. The server is responding. But when server want to talk, the reverse policy is not there. That's why it's not working. So if you want to make the communication, we have to create the layer 2 policy. And I can put the 2. Source is going to be my, this time zone is going to be changed. From where it is coming? That coming from the trust zone. So I have to put in the trust zone. And what is IP? 10.10.10.11/24. And where it is going? Destination zone. What is the LAN zone? What is the IP address? 10.10.10/24. Application any, URL any, action any. We'll discuss later on what is the meaning of that, and I'll just commit that. The post commit things is going to be changed, and you'll see your destination also start talking to the client. Just wait for a while.
We just do the bidirectional policy, right?
Yes.
सर शायद जो साइडर है ना वो आपने 14 डाला हुआ है रिवर्स पॉलिसी में.
Wait,
हाँ.
देख लेता हूँ.
चलो.
Hold on. Give me 1 minute. So this is what we have, and based on that, if I go here, you can see this is talking to each other. So I put it the right address 11. Oh, sorry. यहाँ मैंने और गलत डाल दिया. Let me correct. But still, it's some wider subnet, so it is going to consider. There is no problem. So पूरा subnet बड़ा ही है, छोटा नहीं है. So one host IP is there. So that is the typo. But still, they are talking to each other. You can see my source is talking to destination. Destination is talking to source. So if you go in the firewall, if you go in the monitor, and you want to see does really my traffic is processing by the firewall, you can go and check the session browser. In session browser, you're going to find this all info. Means you have this source IP address, you have the destination IP address, you have the port number, and they are talking by going by this layer 2 policy 2, layer 2 policy 1. This is how they are talking. This is the layer 2 deployment of the Palo Alto Firewall and zone concept. If the zone is going to be same, they are going to talk by default each other. If zone is going to be different, they are not going to talk by default each other. Is it make sense to everyone? Is it clear? Shall I move to the different discussion? Let me stop this because we tested it. Let's move some complex lab now for the layer 2 only. So this is just, baby steps. We just did the very basic fundamental. Now you have to test your skills on the actual things. That is Inter-VLAN routing. That's the one step higher than the layer 2. So in this, again, we have the similar situation, but we have to do differently. Now what is happening? My firewall have the single interface, and this firewall have to carry two VLAN traffic. That's the VLAN 10, and that also VLAN 20. So how it is possible? So this is one PC that is going to VLAN 10, another VLAN 20. Now I have to create this two VLAN 10 and 20 on my switch. This is going to be access port. This is going to be access port. This is going to be trunk port, and the both VLAN is going to be process, right? 10 and 20. And now my firewall have to do some intelligence so that they can talk to each other. This is the lab requirement. So this is not something new in Palo Alto Firewall. If you guys are coming from the routing switching background, you must know router on a stick. How many have listened about that? Router on a stick, or also we known as the Inter-VLAN routing. Have you guys done in past?
Inter-VLAN routing, yeah, router on a stick.
We have the router, we have the switch, that is a layer 2 switch, and this is my PC A, this is my PC B. This PC is just take an example 10.10.10. This is 20.20.20.20/24/24. These two are getting connected to each other. Both are getting connected to each other. But they want to talk. This layer 2 switch cannot make them communication. So what is going to happen? Ye access port, this is access port. This is also access port. But we have to use some layer 3 device here. This is my layer 3 device. From there, we have to go on the router. And after going on the router, you have to do some sort of the inter-VLAN routing so they can talk to each other. Clear? So same thing we have to do at the Palo Alto Firewall. So let me start by configuring the PC IP first. So I will simply go on the VPC. These are the small PCs, right? So again, I'll go on these PCs. I'll go on this PC also, and I will assign some IP address. And also I'll assign disable the firewall also. So let's do that. So we just have to wait. Let me open again. It's just stuck for some reason. So let me click again. Okay, now it's fine. That's fine. Properties. I will go in the adapter properties. And I will just go and assign the IP address 10.10.10/24. 10.10.10. And the subnet is going to be 255. And gateway. There is a gateway is mandatory. Why? Because if you want to talk from one network to another network, you require the gateway. So you just have to put 10.10.1. This gateway is mandatory. I'll click OK. Now I'll go another PC. This is my another PC. And in this PC, I will go and I will configure the properties. And this is going to be my, again, different PC. This is a 20 PC. So again, I have to configure 20 IP address. Subnet mask is going to be this /24. Gateway is going to be on the firewall. So I'll put 2020.1. There is no DNS and all. So I need to make them reachable. So very important, you always disable the firewall. Varna ping nahi chalega. It is not going to allow the ping. So you go here and disable the firewall. You go there, you go there, you go there, and apply. apply, right? I'll go here. Just give me 1 minute. So I will go here and I will just off. I will go here, off. I will go here and I'll just apply. This is the basic thing we are doing here. Now, what next? The next step, we have to go in the switch, and this time the switch have the different configuration what we have done the last time. My 2 ports are going to belong in the access port, but 1 port is going to act as a trunk port as well. So there is 2 different set of the configuration is going to require. Okay, so I don't have the option to increase the front. Let me try one more time. Okay, now I got it. Okay, very nice. So I will go here and first I'll go in the config host name. And what is my host name? That is going to be my switch 23. And I will create the VLAN, 2 VLAN I need to get, VLAN 10, right? And I create VLAN 20. Clear? So there's 2 VLAN has been created. Now, very first thing what I have to do that, this VLAN 10 is going to assign on this and 20 is going to assign here. So interface Ethernet 1, ATS 0x1, switch port mode access, switch port access, VLAN 10. No shut. This is the very first step. And the second step, I'll go on the ATH 0x2, interface ATH 0x2, switch port mode access, switch port access, VLAN 20. No shut. Right? This is done. Very first step. Now, we have to create this interface as a trunk port. Trunk is going to carry multiple VLAN. I hope you guys have done in the switching. So how the trunk is going to be created? I'll go here and config. I will go on the interface. This is my interface ETS 0x0. Switch port trunk encapsulation .1q. You just have some switches not required, but some switches is required. So switch port trunk encapsulation .1q, switch port mode trunk, and the last command switch port trunk allowed VLAN 10 and 20. Even you're not doing this allowed VLAN, so by default all VLAN is going to pass on this particular port. So now we are done with the switch configuration. But these PCs are not going to talk to each other. Let me ping to each other. You can go and check the IP config. This is 10 and you just have to reach to 20. So they are not going to talk unless or until you make some short of the, right? You just go here and I can go here IP config and ping 10.10.10.10 slash. This is also done. So now we are good, right? What next? So the next step is we have to log into the firewall and we have to do the inter-VLAN routing from here. So I will go and log into the firewall. So I'm in the firewall. I will go admin. I'll put the password admin. Old password, this one. And the new password, this one. Sorry. Hold on. I just make some mistake. Admin. Old password admin. I have to put new password. And now it's done. So we have to log in via GUI. So we require the IP address. So I will go here. So system info. This is my IP address. So I will simply go and log in it. So I can go in the browser and what is IP address? 41. So I will go here and just put HTTPS and this is going to be 41. Now it's done. And just go and click admin and just put the password here. So now I'm in the firewall. After entering in the firewall, we have to do the inter-VLAN routing from here. So let's do it. So I will go here. I will go in the interface. So how inter-VLAN routing is going? We have the single interface, but we have to create two sub-interface. We have the single interface, but we have to create two interface. On that two interface, we have to assign two different IP address. So first we have to make this interface as a layer 3 interface. Because we have to assign the IP address, so this interface cannot be layer 2 interface. It must be layer 3 interface, then only you can assign the IP address. So the first priority, I'll go on the Ethernet 1 and I will click on this particular section and make as a layer 3, and I will not assign anything on it. Because if I assign on the physical, it is only single subnet is going to be assigned. So what I have to do that, I have to create sub interface. I'll select this here. Likewise, you create in router sub interface. Similarly, you have to create sub interface and you have to put the VLAN tagging. This is the interface ID. Interface ID and VLAN tag. VLAN tag should be exact VLAN number, which is allowed on the switch. Means we create 10 or 20. So we have to create two interface, sub interface. One is going to be under 10, one is going to be under 20. This tag is any number random from this value. But the best practice, whatever the VLAN you're taking, just put the same number here. If you're taking 20, put 20 here as well. So this is how it is going to be happen. Making sense, right? So for our case, we are going to make one sub interface for the VLAN 10. So I will use any 10 number, but tag is this. And what is the virtual router? The router which I was talking, that is my default virtual router. A virtual router, what is a virtual router? We have to understand. So I will explain probably in next class what is a virtual router. This is my virtual router. So I'll wait. Venkatas is saying something. So we have the virtual router here. In this virtual router, we'll explain what is the meaning. But for time being, just understand I'm enabling the router within the firewall. That's meaning of the virtual router. What I'm doing, I'm enabling. But what is the role of the virtual router? I'll explain later. Just hold on. But zone is important. So now I will create two zone here. One zone is going to be on the VLAN 10, right? This is my VLAN 10 zone. This is my VLAN 20 zone. So I'll put my one interface. Let me put the firewall closure. I will put the one interface under the VLAN 10. So under VLAN 10, sorry. And now I'll assign the IP address. This is going to be 10.10.10/24. Done. Now another interface I have to create. I'll go and select it, add sub interface. This is going to be 20. This is going to be 20. This is a default. Security zone is going to be VLAN 20. This is going to be 20.20.1/24. Now I'll click OK. Now my both VLAN has been created. So if I commit from there, the communication is still not going to happen. And still even gateway is not going to be reachable. If I trying to ping my gateway, it is not going to pingable. Even my end-to-end VLAN is propagated. If my end-to-end VLAN is propagated, this VLAN is under 10. This is a trunk port and both VLAN allow, and this is my IP is configured 10.10.1. But if I try to ping from here to here, it is not going to ping. Anyone know the reason why it is not going to ping? We discussed this one.
पॉलिसी नहीं होगा सर
नहीं, policy की जरूरत ही नहीं है ना. We are in the same subnet. Why policy? We are going in the same subnet, no? So why policy is required? Policy is going to required when you're going to talk from one subnet to another subnet and they have the different zone. तो बात ही नहीं है. What I'm going to say,
Zone.
two cables. One is this cable virtually after switch. One is this cable. This is it 10.10.10.1/24. So I'm in the same network and I'm going via this one. So should be reachable, right? Any guess?
सर जोन हमने मतलब सेम जोन में नहीं रखा था इसलिए.
No, that's different story. We don't have to go. Let's suppose, take an example. There is two cable connected here, right? This is one cable. And I assign the IP address 10.10.10.1/24. यहाँ पे zone है, that is a VLAN 10 zone. So this traffic should go this cable, right? Sanwaj, don't write anything on my screen. So I should ping this IP, right? But it is not going to ping. Let me show you. If I am going to ping my gateway, it is not going to ping.
Because you need to enable the ping on the services
This is what I want
interface.
to discuss. Yes. You got it. So if I'm going to here, so this is the important concept. So config 10, gateway is 10.10.1. So 10.10.1 is not pinging, jabki supposed to it should be pinging. It should be pinging. What is happening? I told you in previous session. Again, I am recapping this. By default, ping, SSH, and HTTPS is allowed on management interface. REST other interface, everything block. So ये management interface है जो हमने बनाया या other interface है. What is the management interface here? What is the management interface? The interface connecting to your management network.
MGMT.
So this is by default, this three feature is allowed. By default only this, अगर telnet भी करोगे, it is not going to work. So by default these are, but rest other interface, if you're configuring layer 3 interface, sub interface, VLAN, by default these all blocked. Sanwaj, why you writing my screen? Please don't write Sanwaj. So this is what the problem. So how we can enable the management interface? How I can enable the ping and SSH? I have to go on the interface and I have to go in the advanced, and here is the management profile. Very unique interview questions, guys, and trust me, you have to be careful while answering this. So I will go here and I'll create one of the management profile. I will go here and I'll create the management profile, and this is going to be management. I can put the name as a profile. In this management profile, you allow the ping if you want to allow the SSH or HTTPS. So whatever services you want to allow, you can allow, and then you apply on this interface. So it is giving the warning as well. Applying the management interface on the particular interface, that is not a good practice, and it is potentially going to expose your network. So you have to be very careful for that. So I take risks because we are in the lab. Similarly for 20, it is not going to ping. So I will apply, even you go in the 20 and try to ping the gateway. So it is not going to ping. So we have to apply for this one also. Not pinging. So I will go here, advanced, and I will apply the management. I will ask this question in the next class. Okay. So you guys have to be very sure, right? Because in my class, you have to be responsive sometime, because I ask sometime very surprising questions to anyone. So please note these all things. So management profile, I apply it. And what is the role of management profile? You guys know that. If any question, please let me know. So after this commit, you will see the magic is going to be happen, and these two PCs start pinging to a gateway, which earlier it was not pinging. Then after we'll move how these two PC are going to communicate to each other and what policy is going to be required. So you see, the PC start pinging to gateway. This PC also start pinging to gateway. Why? The management profile was missing, means ping was blocked. And this was the region. Now, the next step, the PC is not talking to each other. The PC is not talking to each other. So Pooja, can you just tell me what is missing here? Why these two PC are not talking to each other? There is two zones we configured here. One VLAN 20 is under zone 20, VLAN 20. This is VLAN 10. So I'm trying to ping. We configure everything, but they are not pinging to each other. What could be the reason? Pooja, you want to give answer?
No, Vishan.
No idea.
The inter-VLAN communication.
Oh,
लैन वाइज हम लोग को पॉलिसी बनाना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि हम लोग के पास ये दो दो इंटरफेस जो सब इंटरफेस है, वो उसका नेटवर्क अलग है इसके लिए।
Any other guess, guys?
तो इंटरव्यूनल कम्युनिकेशन की जरूरत पड़ेगा क्या?
Sungo, you want to give some idea why these are not talking to each other? Any idea you have, Sungo?
Should be create trunk port in switch, but already created the trunk port, I think.
That's a trunk port, right? This is access port. I already give the answers also, guys. The VLAN
Routing need to be enabled.
routing is this is directly connected. No, these are two directly connected on the same virtual router. Directly connected network. Let me show you. So routing is there. So there is no issue with routing.
Or policy.
So what policy is missing? I want to
Uh,
listen.
the policy between the two zones.
Yes, this is what. So guys, Pooja and everyone who not able to understand, I told you just few minutes back, or might be 10-20 minutes back, June. This PC under Zone VLAN 10, this is under VLAN 20. Did we create any policy here? We created or not?
No.
So if no policy, by default, they cannot talk. I mentioned, na? If we have the different policy, they cannot talk to each other unless or until you are going to create the policy. This is a very clear statement we have given, and I hope you guys understand. So again, we have the same scenario. So if I want to make them communicate, I need to create the policy, and we require two policy, one from VLAN 10 to 20 and VLAN 20 to 10. So let me create it. I'll go here. And why it is not talking? Because we have the inter-zone default policy available and it is dropping everything. See the packets, hit counts. And because of that, it's not working. So I will go here and I'll create policy from VLAN 10 to VLAN 20. And this is my VLAN 10. And I'll keep the subnet as a 10.10.0/24. And this is my VLAN 20. 20.20.20.0.
Do not learn Python in manual way in 2025 because learning Python.
Someone where you start learning Python by B10x. These ads are so irritating. So you can go here and I'll just click OK, 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 and click OK. Now we are done. Next step, I'll create the policy from VLAN 20 to 10. 20 to 10. So here I'll go and select the VLAN 20. Subnet is going to be 20.20.20.0/24. And here I'll go and 10. Any. I click OK. So 10 to 20, 20 to 10, and you have to commit. So routing is already there. I'll explain what is the routing, how it is going to happen when we discuss about the packet flow also. So probably after some time, I'll explain how the packet flow is because we have to start from here also. So let me close. So we have to understand these things, very important. Oh, why it is opening again and again. We have to learn packet flow and the single pass architecture, which we never done. So I'm just explaining the basic concept, the configuration of the interfaces and their communication, but it's very important when I explain this flow logic, these all are going to be used. So I want to set the right baseline so you guys can understand how packet is going to process, what is the routing is going to be checked, what is the policy is going to be checked, and what is the VLAN is going to be checked, and then how the final PC is going to communicate. Now you will see the magic already just started and PCs start talking to each other. And you want to see in the logs, probably you're going to find some logs are also there. So if I go here and session browser, you see the firewall is talking. VLAN 10 is 20 and 20 is 10. These are talking to each other. These are talking to each other. So
Sir, I have a question. It's Kiran here.
yes, Kiran, please ask question.
Yeah. Now, if there is no policy, right? If there is no policy, there will be no communication. So firewall on the interface, it will be dropping, right? In such case, can we get the logs over here? if
Yes,
if
definitely. Definitely we can get the log, but for that, default policy cannot give the logs. Default policy which available, you cannot find the log in the default policy. There is two option. You have to create the manual policy on top of the default policy. That's one option. And you have to, then you are going to get the log. Another option, you have to just override this action and you have to enable these two sections. End session. See, this is not enabled. This is the reason
Okay.
you're not going to get log. And by
Mhm.
default, in this policy, you'll see that it is going to be enabled. So you have to create the policy. Where is the actions? Yeah, log and region. You can see this is enable. So if there is no such policy which is denying forcefully, this policy will not going to show the log.
Yeah.
Because so if you enable that behavior, how you can enable? You can just override this behavior. So you just have to click this policy. How you can override? Let me tell you. Just intrazone default. You just have to go here, override the policy, an action, click here, and then it is going to be. So now you override the default behavior of the Palo Alto. Then you are going to get a log.
Oh,
Clear? You have to commit.
okay.
So this is the way. We'll see later on. There is no problem. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So I believe we are good for today. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we have a class. So we will see how virtual router is going to be configured and how DHCP server is going to be integrated and how DORA process is going to be happen. So these things we are going to cover 100%. There is no problem. And I hope it's clear to everyone. If any question, please let me know.
So when is the class? On which day?
Next, we have the 3 day in a week.
Yeah.
We have the Tuesday.
Mhm.
We have the Thursday and we have the Saturday. 3 day in a week.
Saturday at the same time?
Yes, same time. We'll
So
see.
this will be the link for the Zoom, or there'll be a new link given to
No,
this?
you have to talk to support number, right? 919289682701 for the Zoom link.
Okay, fine. I'll ping them. Okay. Knowledge.
Yeah, just ping them and you're going to get the Zoom links. So initially for this week, might be you're going to get temporary Zoom link,
Mhm.
but from the next week, the Zoom is going to fix and permanent. So you guys are going to get permanent Zoom and you have to just join. No, you have to wait for the Zoom. I'll be going to start the session and you guys are going to be just, learn everything from me. All right. So I believe we are good, right? Any questions anyone have still? Sarik, Pooja, Johnson, Jadev.
सर ये लैब कब से स्टार्ट होगा लैब एक्सेस मिलने की
Lab you can take, Sarik. There's no problem. You can just reach out to support number. They are working day and night. You can take the labs. There's no problem. Yeah, you can take labs. You can start doing. This is support number. You can see learn.winner. This is support number. Just WhatsApp, call them. Or not right now. Might be tomorrow morning. You can reach out to them. Okay.
Okay, sir.
They will create for you in daytime.
Say hi, Songo.
Yes, Sumo. How are you? Tell me.
Yeah, fine. This is my first time joining the class.
All right.
Yeah, there are some problems. Yeah, I have two doubts. First doubt is about the version for the PAM.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if in the future if you will see the version 11 of the PAM.
Uh-huh.
The other question is about the license, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'm facing some issues when I try to take some what can I say some pump from a Palo Alto portal. Yeah, this is about the privilege that they don't permit it because they say if you want to take the evaluation license or dollar something, you need to be first a client or customers or partners. I don't know how can we access it only for the trainings.
Okay, so this is something custom requirements, Sungo, right? For the PAM. Okay, so this is the very kind of the specific topic, right? Privilege access management, right? So is it right now managed by the Palo Alto Firewall or some, because PAM, different tools, different systems, different vendor we have. So how this PAM is accessing right now in your scenario? Is it Palo Alto or something else?
It's Palo Alto. It's the we can say operation system of Palo Alto. PAM, not PAM, PAM.
Okay, PAM. Okay. So in Palo Alto, I will explain how this access is going to manage. There is multiple way. Okay, but not initially. We have the role-based access. Okay. We can
Yes.
create the role-based access, means L1, L2, L3, how to manage the users. So I will train how to, you can restrict the access for the different user. That is the one method. Another method, you can create the local users, like you can see the admin user. But I want to give a Sugno, right? Your user, right? So what access I want to give based on the role or based on the dynamic, that also I can create. That's another method. Third method, I'll create based on the TechX, LDEP, AD integration I will do.
Not about that. Sorry, it's about the license from the portal. If you want to activate the license in your appliance,
No. In this lab, if you want to test these all three features, even the local user and like the role-based access, even the LDAP, there is no license required. We can do that without license.
okay.
Yeah, you can do that. So I will do in this lab also. We have the dedicated lab. We have the AD integrations, right? You can see here. So in this AD integration, I will show you how to integrate the AD. That's one level of the user creation, and that's going to be managed with the Palo Alto Firewall. For the advanced topic, we'll do later on. This is the topic we'll cover here. This one, user ID integration, user ID. That's one thing. Second thing,
Yeah.
how to create the user. So we'll discuss about the user management, account administration. You can see these sections. So in this section, you're going to understand how the role-based access is going to be created in Palo Alto. So even you have the unlicensed firewall, means there is no permanent license, this feature is going to work without any problem. But if your company have the license, that's a good choice. If not, still it is going to work.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Thanks for joining and welcome to.
Yes, yes, I have a question, sir. If you
Yes.
just a small question. Sorry, I'm intervening. How to check the ARP entry on the interface?
How to check ARP entry in Palo Alto, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me show you.
You should give me CLI. There is no way you
Yeah.
can.
CLI, we can show ARP. And
Okay.
you want to see for the any interface, you can put the interface name. If you want to see, the all ARP is going to be there. If you want to put like this interface, so you can just put like Ethernet. This interface only ARP is going to be. It's very easy for CLI. You can see
Okay.
it. Yeah. Clear?
Oh yeah, got it. We can't see the GI, right?
GUI, we don't have the options to see the ARP. This is the interface. Okay.
Okay.
So ARP entry is not going to be created on the GUI.
Oh, okay.
So only we have to see in the CLI ARP entries, because GUI everything is not possible.
Okay.
Might be in future we'll see that, but as of now, there's no ARP entry on the GUI.
So basically, troubleshooting CLI is
No, it's not like that. You have to be good in the
both.
GUI, 95% GUI. Few things like ARP, debug, some specific thing only we can do the CLI. Rest of thing, 95% or more than that, you can do with the GUI.
Okay.
Okay. So I will
Okay.
tell you, okay, which like ARP you mentioned. Definitely, I'll show how the ARP is going to be created. Table is going to routing table is going to check from the CLI. We have a lot of CLI command. Okay. So we will see later on the verification. Let me show you. It's a very good document I have. I'll save that document also. So if I go here and I go in the training document and Palo Alto, and if I go the troubleshooting document here, you can see CLI command. So you see a lot of command are there. CLI command, system, packet flow, pcaps, data plane, logs. You can see we have the CLI command, CPU performance, dynamic updates, and you have the NAT CLI command, URL filtering. So you can remember all these things. Too much command. So Palo Alto is always recommended to GUI, not the CLI. But if you want to see CLI, you can do that. You just have to keep this in a reference.
Because I worked on SRX, so
Okay.
SRX is moreover a CLI. So
I got it.
before NetScreen was like moreover like GUI. It is similar to the Palo Alto, you know, login, that screen, but SRX basically a CLI, and the ASA as well. It's basically a CLI stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks, Kiran, and I appreciate
Thank
it. Yeah. Alright, guys. So wish you all the best. See you in the next class. Bye bye.